Good evening. I'm Chief Meteorologist Carlene Chavis, and thank you for tuning in for your CBS 8 Plus weather update. Now, it depends on when you're watching this. It could be dark, but hey, if it's closer to sunset, talk about an absolutely gorgeous one. So we did have the sunset earlier this evening. That was around 7:12. We had some high clouds that were added to the scenery. And if you take a look towards the east, you're going to see another show. So we're starting to have that moon rise, that full moon that will be out there for tonight. So it's going to be an absolutely gorgeous sight. And then still with some of those high clouds lingering, a really nice spectacle. So just keep that in mind as we do have the full pink moon tonight. It will not be pink, but it's just basically homage to all of the flowers as well as the trees that start to bloom around this time that have a little bit more of those pink flowers involved. So we have a really great day, and that was what we had earlier. We have more of those as we go into tomorrow, holding on to the sunny streak. When you take a look at our daytime highs, we had lots of 60s out there for today. We were at 64 degrees for downtown, 62 for Miramar, also 68 degrees for El Cajon. We have 50s and 40s across the mountains, and also the same high in Escondido as in Borrego Springs. So we had 69 degrees as a high for today. When we take a look at the overnight lows this morning, it was record-breaking for a couple of cities and even had a tie, and that was for Borrego Springs at 41 degrees. It tied with that record overnight low back on this morning, and that was 1999. So quite a long time since we actually got that low. Also talking about a new record that was set for Vista as well as for Ramona with those cold overnight lows. So that was the case at least to start off the morning, and then we got into those 60s widespread across the county. As we hit tomorrow morning, just keep in mind that we're still going to have a chill out there, but we're not talking about any frost advisories. It's just not anticipated to be as low and as cold as it was over the last couple of nights and mornings. So 48 degrees expected for downtown, 50 degrees for Encinitas, also talking about 43 degrees for Escondido. The same for Poway and for Miramar. Looking at a few more 30s that will be out there. 37 degrees expected for an overnight low for Ramona, 39 for Campo, and also 36. And that would be for that would be for Palomar Mountain. Borrego Springs will be in the 40s. Now we have an area of high pressure, and that's going to be our main weather maker through tomorrow. We had mostly clear skies for today. A few added high clouds as we got later on into the day. This high pressure system will continue to dominate our weather pattern. So slightly warmer temperatures, even getting away from those 60s for most areas by tomorrow. Now towards the north of us, we do have an area of low pressure. Now that's trying to move in across the west coast, and it's going to do so mainly across the Pacific Northwest. That's where we're already starting to see some scattered showers as well as some snow starting to move in towards the northern half of our state. Now here's the thing, that ridge of high pressure that's over Southern California, that's going to keep that storm track well towards the north. So we're not expecting any shower activity impacting us as we hit our forecast on Friday, and that's going to be on Friday where we have more of an impact, and that's because of breezy westerly winds, talking about slightly cooler temperatures and also some added cloud cover, but no rain expected in the forecast. So that storm track keeps that moisture away from us. As mentioned, it will be breezy, it will be cooler, and that's going to be the case by Friday, but not by much. It's just a little bit of a knockdown in temperatures, and then we're going to warm up as we go into next week. So when you take a look at your daytime highs for tomorrow, getting away from the widespread 60s and, well, trading those in for widespread 70s as that high pressure system moves over us. 70 degrees expected for downtown, the same for Miramar, 72 for Chula Vista, still holding on to mid to upper 60s right along the North County coast. 73 degrees will be the high for Escondido, the same for Ramona, and 78 degrees for Borrego Springs. The fun fact is Borrego Springs is actually going to be short of seasonal, and the 80s is actually more of a seasonal high, but most of the county is going to be so below seasonal for the desert. Most of the county is going to be above seasonal by tomorrow, and we're talking about some of those 70s out there. So it's going to be a pretty nice day before we hit that slightly cooler patch, and that's just going to be on Friday. When you look at your surf forecast, about 1 to 3 feet, also talking about sets up to 4 feet. It's good to get in the water. It's been well over those 72 hours since our last rainstorm, and then a low risk of rip currents at our local beaches. That water temperature will be at 57 degrees, and your sunrise for tomorrow will be at 6:32 in the morning. Very high for that UV index, so make sure you are protecting your skin. So as mentioned, that area of high pressure builds in over us. That will be the case as we go through tomorrow, and then we have this low that's going to move in. More impacts across the Pacific Northwest. You trail that moisture back to the Pacific. It looks like it's going to impact for us, but no, it's actually going to dry out as it gets closer. So most of that's going to stay well towards the north. That will be the case by Friday. But then that low lives out. We have a pretty quiet weekend, and then we have this area of high pressure that moves in for the second half of the weekend. So temperatures will start to warm up a little bit more. That's going to be the case by Saturday, and then even more by Sunday and Monday as the high is right over us. As a result, that brings well above seasonal temperatures back to San Diego County, even the desert getting back into those 90s for the first time this year. Then we have another low that looks to form across the Pacific Northwest. Most forecast models do show it moving more so towards the north of us, but with those impacts, we could actually see a slight chance for some shower activity on Wednesday, but I'm talking really slight. Once again, the main impact looks to be some cooler temperatures, some breezy winds, and there is that slight chance, only a 13% chance after some much needed dry days. When we take a look at that 8-day microclimate forecast, the warm up is going to be mild along the coast. So you do have high pressure bringing the 70s back to the coast by tomorrow, back into the 60s by Friday, and then staying near that range, near 66. So a little bit to near to below seasonal for the coast. Now we will have temperatures warming up into the upper 70s. That will be the case, and even some low 80s being possible for the inland valleys. That will be the case on Sunday as well as Monday. Then we start to back away from that. That low I just showed you in the last graphic is going to do that. So that's going to bring more of a cool down. There is that slight chance on Wednesday we could see some shower activity, but definitely looks like mostly cloudy conditions right along the coast. Now for the mountains, you're getting right back into the 70s. That's going to be the case by Easter Sunday. There are those 90s set to return for the desert, but it's going to be a temperature roller coaster on your 8-day, because then you're noticing 70s tomorrow, 80s turning on Friday, back into the 90s, and then right back into the 70s with the passage of that low pressure system for the desert. That will be by Thursday. Have a great night. Thanks for tuning in.